Officer for more call about Edoba Daily Update TV. And then I'll share to me and also subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share if I comment show. Yenina and radio CEO Supreme Court. Supreme Court are calling off 4 seats. Now 4 seats now are calling. A year Marty Pebu any one of and the appeal copy lawyer and their copy. And a year lawyer da Fiamapo. Omu committee will key point you made this with you with for credit moment. Now and a year host no bisa say sa for MPC or Masha say register ya Gazetted or Monday dinner koma a parliament. And I say re Martin Pebu a retaliate say re a woman say ya Gazetted or but Supreme Court a be Gazetted for a you mudi sorry Mensa be Gazetted no way ye sa MPC ni din efrim o you omudi frima na Supreme Court letter no quash letter no or my present TV to Parliament into MPC ni draw crana ye mo register back at say the letter has been presented into or muntimi and register yes because Supreme Court they we na ban quash ni na say cancel or set aside or avoid quash ye can Supreme Court a quashing na say or ma avoid the decision of this the electoral commission and finally Martin Pebu said Mensa Ebabe obey Gazetted for no way for MPC Nidian film na Supreme Court so on the letter ni be ma parliament so MPC edu also move register then they will return them back based on the letter they has received. So you could tell lawyer Martin Pebu key point so TV3 Jumedi so for comment so share Jumedi no na for front so ensa enkebi you go take Pebu na yemra emeto ankomodedi so. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Get to know of it today.
Well, we'll get to know of it tomorrow. Send me with an application.
No, we'll send you an application. That's fine. But you do that too. I want to bring you at this point and this matter of whether there's really a challenge for the NDC to deal with in the coming days, in the effect that these results we're talking about, that the Supreme Court has directed that the status quo to be restored, has been gazetted by the Electoral Commission. The Ukaiko Central, Tema Central, Ablekuma North, and then the case of Techiman South. In fact, Techiman South, not Ablekuma North. It's been gazetted.
Yes.
It's part of the 274 that the Electoral Commission has gazetted, and the rate of elections sent to the clerk to Parliament. Now, we understand already some of the MPs have started registering to be part of the entire process of inaugurating this 9th Parliament on the dawn of January 6th to January 7th. Does this ruling negate the entire gazetted results? Or the NDC, in fact, there has to be a court order to, as it were, effectively negate the results that have been gazetted?
You see...
No.
Okay. Yeah, so with what has happened with the Supreme Court order, it means that the EC has to do a new gazette, amending, or in effect, withdrawing the names of those 4.
Because allowed me. Because where he has started. Let me come in before Martin will conclude it.
Lawyer,
give me 1 minute.
Let him. I don't know what maybe it's possible that something I'm not seeing.
Give me 1 minute. What the Supreme Court has said, and this is for the purpose of learning. In fact, sometimes when you go to court and you don't exhaust your reliefs, sometimes this is what will happen.
Right.
You will get a ruling that will be hanging. I'm sharing experience. Going to court, consequential orders are always very important. So if I was part of the team, I would say that you ask your father what your father should give you. If you ask for half, you are given half. Then you slip into confusion. So go forward and say, because of what I'm praying for, if you give me, then do A, B, C, D, so that your ruling will have effect of sending us to status quo ante.
Okay, so let's come to this. So simple and short. From what lawyer Apiakubi is saying, he accepts that once those results have been quashed, it means that they are not.
My opinion.
You accept that those results, the 4 constituencies, have been quashed. So No, the court, you accept that the Supreme Court said those
You're an officer of the
I
court.
said
Yes,
that
you
is
are
what I
supposed to
believe.
Yes,
is the
it's
situation.
been quashed. So this matter of a consequential order not having been made cannot prevent the EC from amending the coming out with a new gazette,
But
right?
it makes it clearer.
To take out those 4 names.
Right.
Because it's very clear. So even at the point of registration, those 4 MPs elect, when they go there, they will be met with the Supreme Court order. That matter, the thing that happened on 20th December, it's been quashed. They say you see this, your names have been mentioned, that your elections have been quashed.
That's
so
where the
please,
confusion will
you
start.
cannot. No, but it's very clear. So at the point, so let's do this. At the point of registration, they will be met with the court order that the Supreme Court said what happened on the 20th of December, where these 4 candidates were now declared, etc., has been quashed. So you cannot register. So if anything at all, maybe the confusion, if any, I don't agree, would rather affect Be Bright and Co. That honorable, the original results, because you didn't get. When I say you, because you represent Be Bright and this is
fine.
Yes, the Be Bright didn't get gazetted. So if she goes there, then they say, "Oh, madam, your name is not in the list of 274 MP select that was presented." So she may also not be able to register, but we know eventually it's going in her direction. So she will just be patient. But so far, those whose names were in there, but the Supreme Court has quashed, they can't register. They can't run under any technicality that, oh, there's no consequential order that their names be removed, so they will register. No. The simple thing is that when and where were you declared winner of those constituencies? You will say, they say, are you aware of a Supreme Court decision saying that these results, the subsequent recollection and which resulted in your declaration has been quashed? If you are, that's cancelled, simply, instead of quash, say cancelled. The Supreme Court has cancelled it. So if it's been cancelled, how do you register? You can't be registered. And if you've registered, your name will be struck off.
I see.
Okay.
So the Gazetted.
What I'm saying is that sometimes when you give rulings that supposedly hang, that's where we will pick one reasoning against the other. But when we are coming from Supreme Court, we should be clear in our mind.
Then took the bag, called, and took the belongings in the bag. Well, some money had been taken. Took the belongings, his passport, and other important documents to the Tema Regional Police Command. So this cleaner at the Tema Port, thank you very much for this. We've got his number, and there is a present of appreciation.
Yeah, on that time, if I leave out something, you add. So, basic, that, so when we say application, there's even a precedent, a copy here. So you write, like the way we do application for employment, but this one, the procedure is different, right? So, but basically you write the whole of your case. Of course, not literally the whole, because the whole will be too much. So you summarize the key points and put it before the court. And there's the key thing. Asking the court to compel or force a public officer to perform that public officer's duty. So there's the emphasis. A mandamus application, so that's the application. You are requesting, you make a request to the court that the court should read through, and if the court finds merit in what you ask the court to do, the court will make an order to compel, to force a public officer, so in this case the EC, to perform a public duty, not a private one. So you can't get the EC, you can't go to court to compel the EC to come and organize, let's say, SRC elections, okay, for University of Ghana, because that's not a public duty. That's not what the EC is set up to do in the Constitution or the CI 127. So it has to be a public duty, not a private duty, right? And also it's for a public officer, not a private person. So let's say husband and wife have a feud or whatever it is. The wife cannot apply to the court for a mandamus against the husband in his private capacity. The husband can even be president of Ghana, but in terms of husband and wife relationship, it's a private matter. So you don't go to court for an order of mandamus. No, whatever you want, you can apply for and get certain orders, but that is not called mandamus. Once you hear mandamus, the first thing as a lawyer you jump at is, or you want to see is, okay, what's the public duty that has been neglected, that the public officer is refusing to perform? Very, very critical. It's not for private matters, but public officer perform a public duty, basically, generally. We've extended it sometimes to bodies that are not strictly speaking fully public, but do a lot of public duties. But let's not go there. At least if you get a public officer performing public duty, it's more than sufficient for our purposes now. So in the context of what was before the court, the MPP went to court, asking for an order from the court to compel the EC to do the recollation. You say it, and then for the areas that the collation had not been done at all, the Nsawam, Aduojiri, and then Ahafo, Ano, North, right? Yes, those ones, they have not been done. So NDC was asking the court to MPP, asking the court to compel the EC to do collation for the Nsawam and Ahafo, Ano, and then recollation for the Tema Central, the Okaikwe Central, the Techiman South, etc. So that is the duty. So the question you'll be asking yourself is, as they go back into court, is recollation a public duty? Is it something that the court, the CI 127 sanctions if collation has been done and then somebody's been announced a winner? Do you find provisions in the CI 127 that can compel EC to go back and redo it? So do you see that the Supreme Court was given a cue? You see that the Nsawam, Aduojiri one and the Ahafo North, they hadn't finished the collation. So you see that because that one, the order, because they hadn't finished, the Supreme Court made the order stand. But where the EC has finished and declared somebody a winner, whether for good or bad, the question is, can you get mandamus when they say they finished? Shouldn't it be that you are going to challenge the procedure in declaring somebody a winner, which will go under an election petition? Shouldn't that be the matter? Well, we'll leave it for the court.
Well, then we'll see how Tuesday plays out. Thank you very much for this.
Let me quickly add
yes,
that.
Please.
It's also issued and directed that a public officer to perform a statutory duty. Now, the statutory duty, so that's why it's called mandamus. You are mandated in law to perform a certain duty. If you neglect to perform that duty, Martin can come after you. And it's called an application because you are applying to the court. And normally, this application will be contained in what we call a motion paper.
Right.
The motion will be on notice or will be ex parte. Ex parte means you are going alone. If it's on notice, it means you are giving notice to the other party that I am going to court to seek these orders. If you are minded to contest the terms of the affidavit in support of the motion paper, then you can come and object to it. But that one to have to be stated in an affidavit.
I see.
So they are generally called prerogative writs.
Prerogative writs.
So prerogative writs, certiorari, mandamus, co-warranto. Co-warranto is one of the writs where you'll be asked, by which warrant do you act? Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
Yes. By which warrant do you act? So these are what we call generally prerogative writs.
I see. Thank you. Thank you very much. And let me also acknowledge the presence now of lawyer.
And it's an ex parte application. It says essentially that there was no collation in Tema Central, which is a big lie. In fact, he went to court to perjure himself. Now, he did this. First, he wrote to the Electoral Commission in his capacity as a parliamentary candidate. And he narrated these facts. This letter is dated, interesting. He didn't date his letter to the EC, but this is a copy attached to his application to the court.
Right. We have a soft copy. We'll put that on the screen.
Yes. Now, he says, I wish to bring to your attention the following infractions, incidents, and occurrences during the collation stages of the process. 1. Collation of the pink sheets began at about 11 p.m. with the presidential and ran smoothly. However, when the exercise was completed at about 4 a.m. on Sunday, the NDCSI asked for recollation as they have a different total of which the EC obliged. The recollation of the presidential pink sheets were done at around 9 a.m. Sunday. At around 9:30 a.m., all parties agreed for the kickstart of the parliamentary collation. Before the process could begin, thugs from the NDC broke into the center and disrupted the whole program. This is also another fabrication.
Right.
Now, if you get to his point 10, he said the collation process was halted when the NDC tried forcing the EC to declare their candidate as the winner, despite having 2 polling stations pink sheets remaining. This is also another fabrication. Now, in his affidavit to the court, filed on 17th December 2024, it says the following, as part of, it deposed to a long set of facts, but let me quote the essential parts. Paragraph 7, that in accordance with respondents' constitutional mandate, parliamentary elections were conducted on December 7, 2024, in the 276 constituencies across the nation, including the Tema Central constituency of the Greater Accra region. That polls were successfully conducted in all the 148 polling stations of the Tema Central constituency, and results were announced and declared in all the polling stations, and same were forwarded to the returning officer. That in accordance with law, collation of election results commenced on 8th December 2024 at the Constituency Collation Center. It's also another falsity, because collation began immediately the polling station elections were concluded. And results announced at the polling stations and pink sheets transmitted to the collation center at Chemu on the 9th of the 7th. So collation didn't start on the 8th, as he claimed in the affidavit.
I see.
Then, that while collation was ongoing, some young men and thugs entered the collation center, engaging in various acts of violence and threats which disrupted the collation process. Then he says 16, that I'm advised by counsel and believe same to be true, that only the returning officer by law can collate, announce results, and declare winners. Yet, at the Tema Central Collation Center, it was the Metro Director that did the collation. Now, paragraph 14 says, following the events narrated above, the collation was moved to the Regional Collation Center on 9 December 2024 for collation to continue. That after a few days, I was informed by the respondent to report at the police training school, Tesano in Accra, with the collation of the results, but I was later informed by the respondent that the collation could not continue. Now, paragraph 17 says that no collation has been done in the Tema Central constituency as required by the law. This is also another falsity. Because in Tema Central, we actually did collation, like his letter to the EC narrated. When we began the collation on the 9th of the 7th, when polls closed and results were announced at the respective...
like in a channel for comments, comment section. You better bring a committee for national phone in a adventure. I wish you an cano, a lawyer Martin Pibu at Chichu. Say Supreme Court Jumedino, a question of a presented letter to Parliament House. Those MP draw, yeah, Momo register. Now, just say, they still for a year the remaining ones, MPP and this is they will go with Mandus Application to reverse that ones to God bless you.